Always being a huge fan of science fiction and fantasy, I remember growing up, some of my favorite movies were time travel movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Time Cop. Yeah, I said it out loud. There was Planet of the Apes, Back to the Future Part 3. But today we're about to explore the possibilities of time travel. We're going to see what's happening with a Highlander. Because we all know there can only be one. Jennae Vale brings us a turn in time. I'm Michael Foster, and this is Reaction to Romance. Jennae Vale, I see her at all the conventions, and she is such a sweet woman to talk to. I took a look and saw that on one of her new novels here, this guy is on the cover, and I reached out to her and said, hey, would you mind if I did a little reaction video because I would like to read a passage from one of your books? And Jennae said, sure. So in the mail, as you all saw the other day, hopefully on the Reaction Live, I opened this up, and this is A Turn in Time. Book 5 of the Thistle and Hive series. Let me play detective here. There's been 4 books before A Turn in Time. I say let's take it from chapter 13, 14, chapter 14 it is. Where are we going today? Helene asked. It's a surprise, you'll see. I've got lots of special things planned. Helene spooned some eggs onto her plate and took another piece of toast. Oh, we've got an accent here. We've got an accent here. All right. Why don't we rewind that just a little bit? Where are we going today? Helene asked. It's a surprise, you'll see. I've got lots of special things planned. Helene spooned some eggs onto her plate and took another piece of toast. Thank you for being so kind to me, Zeke. Okay, so Helene and Zeke. Doesn't sound like Dougal. You're easy to be kind to, he said, taking a sip of his coffee. You're also easy to be around. As are ye, she replied, giving him hope. Zeke reached out to take her hand. The small connection he was making felt better than he would have imagined. He'd touched her before, but never with the intention of wooing her. He always had been careful to keep their relationship friendly, not wanting to push things too fast, too far. A knock at the door took them both by surprise. It's taken me by surprise. I'll get it, Zeke said. I wonder who it could be this early in the morning. All right, so what's going on here? They're having breakfast. That's what's going down. All right, there's a knock at the door. They're surprised. All right. Mayhap Tissera. Oh, that's okay. These are some new words I'm not really used to. Mayhap Tissera. Mayhap Tissera, Helene said. Sarah would use her key. I'll go see. He strode to the door, and upon opening it, he found a sword. Can't wait to turn the page here. At his throat. Wow. So they're sitting there having a nice breakfast, talking about how much they like each other. Big knock at the door, surprise. He walks over, and the first thing that happens is old Zeke here has a sword right at his throat. Okay, you've got my attention, Jennae Vale. Instinctively, he froze, as would I have, moving his head back just enough to be out of contact with the blade. All right, so kind of moving back like this, looking down at it. Where's Helene? The man on the other end of the sword said. Dougal! Helene rocketed out of her chair. Put that sword away. Dougal moved swiftly, never once putting the blade down. My kind of guy. He grabbed Helene by the arm, pulling her into his side, where he wrapped a protective arm around her. All right, Dougal, you take care of your unless he's a stalker. I mean, I'm reacting to the first thing that I'm reading here. So what if we find out that Dougal's like been stalking her, and her and Zeke, have a restraining order on Dougal, and he's showing up with swords, and back to the action. Dougal moved swiftly, never once putting the blade down. He grabbed Helene by the arm, pulling her to his side, where he wrapped a protective arm around her. Helene, Zeke watched carefully as Dougal. Helene, Zeke watched carefully as Dougal rested his cheek atop her head. Aw, it's nice. The moment Dougal's eyes were off him for a split second, Zeke made his move, backing away and pulling out his own sword from the scabbard hanging on the hook in the entryway. The two men now faced each other. Let her go, Zeke calmly stated. Let her go, Zeke calmly stated. I will nay, she is mine. Dougal said with equal calmness. Hey, you two, Sarah shouted. Helene isn't a piece of meat for you two to be fighting over. The other man with them filled the doorway, letting Zeke know without words that he was there to aid Dougal. Zeke was shocked. In his wildest dreams, he'd never imagined Dougal and a companion showing up on his doorstep along with his sister. Sarah, what's going on here? I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Dougal and Logan arrived here in San Francisco this morning. Dougal's come to take Helene back home with him. Helene remained silent in Dougal's embrace, a shocked look on her face. She finally pushed herself free of him. What are ye doing here, Dougal? I've come for ye, Helene. He glanced from Helene to Zeke, who noted that Dougal was doing his best to make himself appear bigger and scarier than anyone else in the room. I'm not going to disagree. I mean, it's better to puff up than have to fight. So Dougal's standing over there, shoulders back, swelling up a little bit, give him the whole lat surprise. The lat's coming out. Maybe in his case, air lats. But, you know, by taking a look at it, it's hard to tell this guy's physique underneath his kilt and his Scottish robes there. But I will say that he does look like he might work out. I'm not sure. I'm just, you know, taking this guy here at his word, or in this case, his picture. Why do you think I want to go anywhere with you? Helene's voice was filled with venom, and Zeke hadn't heard it before, and from the look of Dougal's face, neither had he. I ken you're angry with me, but you must let me explain myself. Dougal's tone softened as he spoke to Helene, but she apparently wasn't having any of it. Zeke was proud of her. And I'm proud of her too. Way to keep this guy Dougal at bay. So this is like, I feel this is the first time that the character on the front cover is ending up the bad guy here. So far, hey, I'm rooting for Zeke. From what I just read right here, you know, the dude's hanging out, having breakfast with her. They're having a great time, lovely conversation. Knock at the door. The record skips, and Dougal shows up, literally opening the door to a blade right in the face. Zeke has a second, reaches back from the scabbard, grabs his sword. The two are doing a face-off. And then Sarah shows up, who appears to be Helene's sister. You know, let me just take a little gander here. Oh, Zeke had, okay. All right, we've got to do a little bit of a little diving in here. I only like to keep it to, you know, a page and a half. But after looking at this, listen to how it starts off here. Zeke and Helene were enjoying a leisurely breakfast. The studio was closed today, and Zeke had planned to take Helene on a little sightseeing tour of San Francisco. He had the whole day planned out, down to the romantic dinner spot he'd chosen. If things went well today, he planned on making his move tonight. He thought Helene might possibly feel the same way he felt, but she was shy and reserved and never said anything that might give herself away. It was one of the many things about her that Zeke found attractive. Oh man, so wait, I'm thinking that this is like future San Francisco, but Zeke maybe is a current San Francisco guy, but he certainly wouldn't have a sword waiting there for him if he's a current San Francisco guy. Probably a soy latte, you know, maybe like a Prius, a vintage record collection. I don't know, whatever those folks are into, but I'll tell you this much. The average San Francisco guy, at least the ones that I've met before, are not going to be turning around whipping out a sword. Go 45 minutes outside of the city, they might be out there. There's no doubt about it. But in the city, I don't know a lot of swordsmen. Now, you could be taking your chances here in LA, because I know a lot of guys out here that train with swords, and you go into the wrong house, that could be happening, but I'm not sure here. This is, you know what though? That's all I'm going to say about it, because I want you to go and purchase this and read it, and then you can comment and tell me what happens. How about them apples? So 2016 San Francisco coming from this. I mean, let's take a look at this. We've got, wow, we've got green pastures and trees and peace going to a large city where there's going to be buses and public transportation and people bumping into them. And old Dougal here and Helene, they're probably going to want to snap on back to, you know, I don't even know when this is coming from. I mean, for all we know, they're just like people that are into role play medieval festivals. And maybe they're just like out in the middle of, that could be Northern Michigan. Yes, it could. Absolutely. That could definitely be Northern Michigan. So maybe from 2016, Northern Michigan, they go to 2016 San Francisco. I don't know, because it's not on the back. But you know what you could do in the comments? This gives me a wonderful idea. You can leave me a note and let me know when this is set in. That would be fun. Let's start a conversation. So if you like what you're seeing here in Reaction to Romance, be sure to subscribe. And one of the links. Okay, and the line that gets the iron gaze tonight is, drumroll please, when referring to Helene, Dougal says, I will nay, she is mine. Jennae Vale, Dougal gets the iron gaze.